Hey everybody, it's Irish Veve here, back to bring you another video. We're going to have a look in this video about Marvel Month on Veve. How is it going so far? What I believe will be the next drop in the collection, and what are Veve's plans for Marvel going forward, in my opinion, or a way that they could do it. So let's get into it. Just load this up here. Okay, cool. So our first drop with Marvel was, of course, Spider-Man, and I view this as a tier 1 character. So obviously with the Spider-Man drop, we had five characters drop on the same day, which effectively was the same first appearance by Spider-Man. It was the exact same artwork, but in different poses. Okay, so we had a common 32,000 minted at 40 gems, 16,000 common at 50, 9,000 rares at 100, 2,500 ultra rare at 250, and of course 1,000 secret at 400, which was a total cost of 3.2 million gems spent. So I think they'll stick with this drop method for all of their tier 1 characters. So I would imagine next we might see someone like Iron Man or the Hulk launched as a tier 1 character, and I can see them doing the same. Pardon me. I can see them doing this the same way for all the main players in the MCU going forward. Not even just the MCU, the Marvel Universe as a whole. Okay, so that was our first drop. Second drop was, of course, Marvel Mighties. So it was the first loot box style drop on the whole app. Went really well, sold out ridiculously fast. So if you were familiar, there was 13 gems per box for Marvel Mighty. Season 1, Series 1 was Captain America, of course. So we had 2 commons, 28888 of each minted, 18888 uncommon, 11888 rare, and 4888 red skulls, or the ultra rare, which was 1.2 million gems. Remember that number, it's kind of important. So it's 1.2 million gems. So premium character was 3.2 million. For a sellout, this one was 1.2 million. Really like the format of 4 heroes and a villain being the ultra rare. I can see them using that going forward, so I'm going to do some more videos on what I think future Marvel Mighty drops might look like. For example, we'll take a Hulk if Hulk is Series 2, and we can look at who the 4 Hulks could be and who the villain could be, that kind of stuff. So we'll have a bit of fun with that, a bit of speculation. You can comment on it as you see fit to do so. Okay, so they were our Marvel Mighties. Next up, of course, really exciting, the biggest kind of update to the app that we've had in a long time. So it's comics. They've been given their whole section. We know from the MEA they're going to be treated separately to collectibles, but there will be some aspects that will be the same. So we will get them on in our showrooms. They will appear in your profile when you say total collectibles. It will appear there. They will be added in there. But there's no full sets. There's no full set badge, because given the extreme difficulty in trying to get a full set with all alternate artworks for any given comics, it's really hard to do. So I really like the fact that they don't count as full sets, because it's just going to be really hard to get them as full sets. So let's have a quick look at how the comic book drops have gone so far. So 7 gems per comic. Now, this distribution was for the first and the third drop. The second distribution was slightly different numbers but the same percentages. So I don't know why that was. It seemed a bit weird. Maybe they were trying the 2 ways. I'm just going to assume that this is the standard going forward for their comic books. So 7 gems, as I said, per comic, 48,000 common, 6,000 uncommon, 3,000 rare, ultra rare 2.4k, and secret rare 600. Total of 420k total. Now, with the Marvel Mighties, I said 1.2 million was an important figure. They did release these comics Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3 comics, 3 multiplied by 420 is 1.2. Not a coincidence as far as I'm concerned. So those numbers are going to mean something. So that's what they're looking to do in any given week on a drop, apart from their tier 1 characters, in which they're expecting to do nearly triple that. Okay. So what's next? That's what we know. That's the known information. What about the unknown? Well, I speculate the next drop's going to be something to do with tier 2 characters. Okay. I think kind of like the Spidey will have these rarities, possibly not the secret rare and tier 2 characters. I can see it just being common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare. And I think when you add up the total amount of collectibles sold, it's going to come to in around 1.2 million gems. Sorry, there's a dog barking outside. I think it will come to around 1.2 million gems. So I don't think the ultra rare is going to be 250. I can see the ultra rare being 90. So I think the prices will dip down. The amount minted will balance out, and I think when you run the numbers, you're going to come in at around 1.2 million. So there's Baby Groot there. So like he's a tier 2 character. He doesn't have his own movie. He's part of a crew. So what could we get? I'm not saying it's going to be Baby Groot, but here's some ideas. We could get a villains collection. It could be interesting way to do it. So the only villain we had as a collectible has been Red Skull, was part of the Captain America series of the mighty Marvels. But it would be cool to have villains to have their own kind of collection, their own set, and periodically then we get season 1, season 2 of the villains, and there's so many villains to choose from in the Marvel universe. But wouldn't it be really cool if, to go along with that, that tier 1 drop or tier 1 hero drop, that we had villains that match that hero? So you could have some of Spidey's main villains could be the villain drop. Going forward then, I know we had certain comics which were kind of key comics, Marvel Comics issue 1, but maybe the comics drops in around that time could link in with the hero as well. So in a moment I'm going to discuss how I think the future might look in terms of drops with Marvel and Veve, and maybe they could gel all together. It would be really cool. So we could see some villains next week or this week or whatever time you're viewing this as our next drop here. Sinister Six would be really cool if they took a couple of them. So that's one idea. The next is the Ladies of Marvel collection. So it's kind of similar to the DC Bombshells collection. So again, we could see common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, where they release 4 female characters from the Marvel universe, not main character, like not the likes of Black Widow and Captain Marvel. They have their own movies. They are like A-listers. They are tier 1 heroes, and they deserve that spot. Same as Spidey, and rightfully so. But the lesser known, so we got I don't even know who some of that's old Scarlet Witch artwork in there. I think maybe someone like Storm from the X-Men, or Sue Richards there from the Fantastic Four. I don't know. There's tons and tons of characters from the Marvel universe, like Nebula, Gamora, something like that. So we could see the Ladies of Marvel collection. In terms of what we've had so far, we had Sue Richards featured in the Fantastic Four comic, but that's it. So we haven't had much female. So we had Spidey, then obviously we had all the Caps, Red Skull. We haven't had any female representation. So I would not be surprised at all if it was a female Marvel character we saw it drop next week, or a range of female characters. And the third idea, so it could be a villain, it could be from a kind of a Ladies of Marvel collection or whatever they want to call it, or it could be an inanimate object. So it could be vehicles, like we've had, obviously Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, the DeLorean from Back to the Future, something like vehicles, Captain America's shield, Thor's axe, Stormbreakers and the axe, the Hammer's Millimere, or the Infinity Stones. Imagine how cool they would be as a drop, and I could definitely see that in the future. So, and if you owned all of them, it could be some cool animation you could do with the Infinity Gauntlet or something like that. Now, I do feel that this is way less likely to be the next drop. In many of the AMAs, the lads talk about accessories, and accessory being the next category. So on our app at the moment, we've got digital collectibles, we've got digital comics, and then digital accessories, or just accessories, is going to be the next category. So I think it's way more likely that it will align with that as opposed to being collectible as we have at the moment. So I think it's far more likely we're going to have a villain or some Ladies of Marvel collection or something along those lines. In terms of Marvel going forward with Veve, obviously August is Marvel month, and once we get to September, I don't think Marvel are going away. I think Marvel will have put in place a cycle or schedule with Veve. Okay, so we roll this out for this month. We show the people on the app, this is what we're going to do. we set precedent, and then we roll it out in those cycles or seasons, and that's what we do. So I'm just going to speculate how that might look, and nothing too fancy or anything here. But like it could be a quarterly cycle where, let's say that cycle starts in September for argument's sake. We get a tier 1 character drop and a comic drop. So the comic drops they've said are going to be independent to the collectibles, okay? They're kind of treating them as separate entities, so they could both very well happen in the same week. Definitely could happen within the same month, okay? And your comic drops, as standard, might be 2 days worth of comics or 3 days worth of comics in a row, bringing us up to that 1.2 million gem figure. It might be. The Reese has said in the AMA that we're going to have more collectibles. I think 2 more collectibles. I don't know if that means 2 more drops or 2 more collectibles in one drop, and more comics, plural. So that could be 3 more comics. So let's say we have a tier 1 character drop, for argument's sake. Let's say it's Iron Man, and they do what they did with Spidey, what they've done with Iron Man. So it's a generic Iron Man with the mask on. First appearance of Iron Man, not first appearance of Tony Stark. It's an important difference. It's in the 5 rarities, exact same distribution of Spidey, and that's our tier 1 character for September. The Mighty Marvel drop then could be doing in this exact same format as the other one. That could be our October drop. So we have season 2 of Mighty Marvels, because let's say it's the Hulk for argument's sake. I don't think they would do so the 5 versions of Iron Man directly after doing the tier 1 Iron Man. I don't think they'd want to do the same character 2 months in a row. And the October comic drop, of course. And then November, we've got that tier 2 character, kind of unknown at the moment. Maybe it's another season of the villain series. Maybe it's the Ladies of Marvel and the comic drop. So that's quarterly. So that means in any given calendar year or cycle year, we're going to have 4 tier 1 characters drop. We're going to have 4 Mighty Marvel series drop. And we're going to have 4 drops of these tier 2 characters, be it a villain series, lady series, or just a tier 2 series of characters. They might even call it, they're not going to call it tier 2, that's just my terminology, but you know, it could be lesser known X-Men, could be potentially Guardians of the Galaxy classified as tier 2 characters, who knows. I think the tier 2 drops won't have a secret rare. I think they want to keep that for the premium tier 1 characters, and then obviously for the comics. Mighty Marvels didn't have a secret rare, so I think they'll stick with that. I don't think they'll change the format now, and I think 13 gems is going to be the price point there. I don't see them going to mix that up, you know. So let me know what you think. That are my views, they're my thoughts. That's how I would do it if I was Mr. Marvel or Mr. Veve, as in some sort of cycle or routine. So we knew, okay, this month we're getting this, and then the next month we're going to get one of these, and so on. And then we can speculate what that looks like. So I'm going to do some more videos. So I'm going to map this out and have a look what the next Mighty Marvel drop might look like. I will do a couple of videos on Mighty Marvels and how they could look. There's really cool things they could do there. But look, by the time you're watching this video, we might already know this next Marvel drop. I hope I'm right. That would be really cool. I can say I told you so. And if we haven't had that drop yet, let's see. We'll get the information probably on Tuesday, like we normally do. And that's it. Best of luck. I hope you're enjoying the app as much as I am. Thanks very much. Irish Veve out.